A big lesson that I have been learning is the fact that I am where I'm supposed to be. And that's what this video is really for the people that believe that they are supposed to be somewhere else, right? I can't speak for those who aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? The people that aren't taking care of business, that aren't trying to grow and doing things like that. This is videos for the people that are trying to grow, that are trying to mature, that are trying to be somewhere, that are trying to get somewhere with their life or themselves, whatever it may be. But it goes through you go through different stages. And right now, I feel like I'm reading a lot, watching a lot of videos about a bunch of just different topics or whatever I'm really interested in. And I start to think that I'm getting pulled in too many different directions. And then when I go and pray to God, I ask God, where am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be at? And God is just telling me right where I'm standing. Where I'm at is where I'm supposed to be. And someone might need to hear that. Someone might need to understand that where you're at and where you're going, it might not look like where you are now, but just know that God is a God that can make a way out of no way. Noah and the people back then, way back then, they never even saw a drop of rain. So when God is telling Noah, hey, there's gonna be a flood, and then you need to build this ark, and you need to do these things, right? You gotta start to ask yourself, right? When you're trying to build your ark, when you're trying to build your goals, when you're trying to build your wealth, when you're trying to build your relationships and doing, or just really trying to build yourself, you have to think about 5 years from now, who am I gonna be? What am I supposed to sit down and talk to the person that's 5 years from now? Am I gonna continue to keep telling myself, hey, like my future self, man, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get my mind right. I couldn't get myself together enough. I couldn't make myself walk straight long enough in order for me to succeed. Or is it gonna be where you're gonna be able to look at your future self, or your future self's supposed to look at you and be like, man, I didn't have it figured out, but you know what? I tried. I did everything that I could day in and day out, and maybe it wasn't fantastic. Maybe it wasn't the million view video. Maybe it wasn't the $1 million sales job closing. Maybe it wasn't any of that. Maybe it was just me really getting closer to God and realizing that me being closer to God is actually me being successful. It's actually me maturing. It's actually me growing. And then whenever you get to have that relationship, right? Not just with God, but especially with yourself, knowing that, man, I don't need the money. Like the world isn't what is putting in my face. Like, that's not exciting me anymore. That's not what's driving me anymore. That's not what I'm looking for anymore. That's not what lives inside of me anymore. You're allowing the Holy Spirit to do those things, and your future self will appreciate it, because what is it that you really want in life? Is it money, fame, and status? Or is it peace, prosperity, and joy? Right? Because I got a couple points to make. Because growth changes what you need. You might think that you need the money, you need the relationship, you need to go to that school, you need to go to that job, you need to have this together. I need to stop this addiction, I need to stop this and doing all this stuff. Man, but whenever you are growing, that comes with it. Right? Because when you're growing and maturing, you're realizing that I don't have to be at that school. Another school that's cheaper, right? That may be closer to my family. That might be a little bit better for me. That might be a better decision for me, instead of going into $100,000, $200,000 in debt for something that I probably could either learn on YouTube, for one, because we live in 2026. We live in a time where YouTube is teaching people. I'm not saying rely on it. I'm not saying go get your expertise or go take a class or two to really learn from other people and doing things like that. But that comes with growth. As you learn a skill, you start to pour yourself into that skill, and that skill will pour back into you. As much knowledge as you have, as we all know, knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power, but wisdom comes with growth. So you have to know how to grow. Wisdom doesn't just come because you're older. I could be 40 years old and not be wise. Wisdom comes with experience and growth, so you have to know what the difference is. You can buy knowledge, right? You can watch knowledge. You can read knowledge. You can do those things. But if you're not wise, what you do with that knowledge is not going to happen. It's not going to make sense, because you're not going to make the right decisions. Decisions comes with, like, wisdom is with decisions. Knowledge is with power, right? Knowledge is whenever you are wanting to gain more about something that you are interested in, more than you want to know who's posting what, or more than who just became the next billionaire in the world, and reading about the news and people dying and people getting sick and doing all that stuff. That has always been around, for one. Nothing is new under the sun is what the word says. So you might think that everything is so big like this, but whenever really, if you really think about it, to you it's big, but to God it is nothing. To God it is something that was already been here. To God it was already something that was already put in motion as soon as he created the earth, as soon as he created life. There's so many things in life that we do not even understand. Right? And in the book of James chapter 1, verses 2-4, it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Not lacking anything. Not lacking anything. The goal isn't for you to think that, man, I'm going to get through this and I'm going to get everything that I ask for, everything that I pray for. No, it's not that. It's letting it work through you, going through that pain, going through that suffering, and letting something come out of it. And it's not always for what you want it to be, but it's for what God is trying to make you become rather than have. It is so much more important. I want people to understand it is so much more important about who you become more than what you have in this life. Because God knows what your spirit actually needs. God knows, and he hears you, and he knows your prayers. He knows you better than you know yourself. You're over here trying to figure things out, and God is like, I already know who you are. I already know that you're going to be this, and you're going to have these things, and you're going to do it. But most importantly, you are my son, you are my daughter, and you are going to have eternal life if you truly choose him, if you truly want to believe in him. And like, I tie faith into growth and maturity and working hard and doing these things, because that's really what it is. Because faith doesn't just grow overnight. Faith comes from pain and suffering, and sometimes even great experiences, good experiences, because of what you came out of. You go into the furnace and come out unscathed. People think that you've been burning, that you've been hurting and doing things like that, but they're like, well, how does he do it? How does she do it? How do they keep moving? It comes with maturity and growth. The more you decide that I'm going to quit running from pain and go through the pain, that's where maturity truly comes in. In Romans chapter 8, verses 26-27, it says, "In the same way, the Spirit helps in our weakness. The Spirit himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God." At times, we don't know what to pray for, or we don't know what to look for. So we spend our downtime in doing things that we're not supposed to be doing. Doom scrolling, looking at porn, smoking, drinking, going out and doing these things that not really is necessarily going to help you in life. It's not going to bring you joy. It's not going to bring you more achievement. It's not going to bring you success. And that's hard to say, because I know what it's like. I've done a lot of things in my life. I know how it feels. I know what the pain is to go through that stuff and not knowing that you're going through it, and then realizing, man, when I wake up the next day, why did I do that? Why am I doing this? I continue to leave myself empty, but I'm pouring myself into everything else. And then I wonder, why am I struggling with what this is? Why can't I find a job? Why can't I make the money that I want? Why can't I have these relationships? It's because I'm chasing so much instant gratification. I'm not willing to stay long enough, stay more than 2 weeks, right? They say it takes 21 days to make a habit, right? Or maybe it takes longer to even break it, right? But it goes to say that, man, I keep pouring myself into all these things and wonder why I'm not getting where I'm supposed to be going. And that's why I say, if you feel like you're supposed to be somewhere else, just know that you're not somewhere else, because you're probably not doing the work that it takes. Yeah, you're working hard. Yeah, this and that. But there's other things in life that we have to have. And one of them is really patience, because yes, you're going to work hard and you're going to do all these things and you're like, man, it's not paying off, this and that. Man, let me tell you something. Life is going to put something in your face many, many times, and it's going to laugh at you and it's going to tear you down, right? Because it wants to see how bad you really want it. So don't be punked by life. You want to be punked by everybody else. You want all these things to run your life and do all these things. How about this? How about you look yourself in the mirror and say, man, enough is enough, and I'm going to get to where I'm going to get to. I just got to do the work now. And I got to stay patient. Stop thinking about today. Stop thinking about tomorrow. How long is it going to take? Stop thinking about it. Maturity and growth doesn't come with that. It comes with time, right? And the last thing I want to say is become someone's answered prayer. Stop looking for everybody else to hand something out to you. You might be the biggest blessing for everybody else. If you actually hone in on your gift and what you're supposed to be doing, if you actually focus and believe in yourself, believe in God, do these things and know that God has overcome the world. God has done so many more things. Jesus walked this earth with us, flesh and spirit. He was man and God at the same time. He is alive. He is true. He died on the cross. He sacrificed himself. He bled. He was tortured and things like that and died for us. For what? So then you can be answered prayer for other people. Jesus didn't go around looking for other people to bless him. He blessed everybody else. And doing that, people went around him, gathered around him. But you have to know that within inside of you, that your relationship with God is so strong and it's so pure, right? And like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It goes over time that you start to realize that God truly is who he says he is. And that everything that you're going through, everything that you see, everything that you are implementing, everything that you are talking about, thinking about, that all plays a part into who your life, to who you are going to be in the future. So just know this. At the end of the day, one more verse. 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 through 4. The God of all comfort comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. So I want you to do something, right? Think about yourself 5 years from now, right? What did that version of you desperately need? What was it? Was it that you had to believe in yourself? Was it that you had to stop focusing on this, and this? Is it that I need to start pouring into my gift more? What is it, right? And I want you to think about 3 things that you need to be doing. 3 things, especially now, starting today, that you desperately need to start doing in order for you and your future self to think who you are today. Think about it, write it down, and work on it each and every day. Pray about it. Tell God to give you strength. Tell God to give you wisdom. Don't ask and pray for certain things that's going to go away. Ask and pray for things that's going to stay with you as long as you live on this earth. But I appreciate y'all, man, as always. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you like the video and doing things like that, man. Make sure you stay in your word, that you're reading your word, that you're studying your word, that you're praying, that you're spending time with God, you're spending time with yourself. Write down those 3 things, think about them, and execute, man. Y'all be blessed, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.